It is Dallas Cowboys Executive Vice President Stephen Jones. Good morning. Heck of a morning, sir.
Good morning, guys. Great day yesterday for the Cowboys.
Absolutely. Now, we just need you to go ahead and confirm, because I know you would want to do that. Did you have to come on earlier because you're meeting Odell Beckham at noon?
Not just yet. Not just yet. We're probably not going to be talking about that much because it's getting to be pretty strategic right now.
Okay. I have one more slight question, and this is just a general question about that. Then I want to talk about the amazing game. In meetings like this, what are the logistics usually like? Is it about seeing what the player can do physically, or is it just more of like you sit down and describe your vision or talk numbers? Like, how do those general meetings usually go?
It's all the above. You have to check, obviously a player like Odell coming off a major injury, that's a part of it, and then the vision for the player and that type of thing, and then the business. So, you kind of hit on all the above.
The game yesterday was I think Mike described it as perfection, and it was the best we've seen this Cowboys team play at this point. What was the reason that this all hit on so many great cylinders yesterday? Was it offense just and the Cowboys come in and after a gut punch against Green Bay, and then maybe Minnesota's a little light because they had that big win against Buffalo? What was the perfect culmination of yesterday for you?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was just the disappointment of the Green Bay loss, knowing that we we played good for 3 quarters there, but let that get away, and that wasn't in a way that we feel like this team plays, whether it be offense, defense, or special teams. We just didn't get the job done, and really felt like starting at the top. We start to look at our best players. Not that we don't have a whole team full of really good players, but you start with Dak and Micah, and certainly they owned it and set the tone in practice all week. And I just think, that was a big driving factor is to, not necessarily show our fans, but more than anything, just show each other within the confines of the team, the coaching staff, the organization, that we can certainly play at a higher level than what we showed against Green Bay.
Is it impossible not to get caught up? I'm just telling you where I'm at today is when Jerry Jones talks about this team being a championship contender. I know there's a long way to go, but is it impossible not to get caught up in that kind of excitement?
Absolutely. I mean, you enjoy the moment, as we say, but we've got a game Thursday against the Giants, and it's a big, big game against a divisional opponent. They're having a great year. Identical records to what we have. And we all enjoyed the day yesterday, the night last night. And, it's time to get back to work and get focused on the Giants. This game's going to be here before we know it. We'll be kicking it off there Thursday, Thanksgiving, at 3:20. And the game's here.
What were your thoughts on Micah Parsons just establishing the tone by creating the forced fumble to start the game?
Well, I think, he came out and he backed it up. He said, I think he stated throughout the week that he was going to play better. The defense was going to play better. And obviously to make a huge play like that on the first drive. And, we were able to come away with points and did a nice job with that. But it was just a big, big play, and I think set the tone for the day.
Was there any part of you that kind of had to hold your breath for just half a second when he came up hobbling for a quick minute after late in the game?
Well, you always hold your breath when any of our players come up hobbling like that. But, certainly he was able to get through that and, feel like, they'll go through the proper checkups today, but feel like he'll be fine.
And, Stephen, it looks like Kellen Moore really has a good understanding of how and when to use Tony Pollard. Has that come along because of Dak being out there and being healthy and everybody kind of, now you're 4 games into Dak being back and being able to push forward here?
Well, I think, I was actually visiting with Tony Romo after the game, and he said anytime when he missed in his career an extended period of time like Dak did, it takes a while to get back in rhythm. And certainly Dak did. Certainly Kellen, I think, is getting a feel for our personnel and what we can do. I really thought Zeke and Tony complimented each other all day. Zeke's just so physical. We missed that, in the Green Bay game. But he's, I think it's a great 1-2 punch, and I think Kellen yesterday, just called a hell of a game. Played great complimentary football, and did the things that I think this team needs to do to win.
I know that we probably don't want to show preference to any particular player, but today is Brett Maher's birthday.
And Cooper Rush.
Can we make sure to get them a nice present today for everything that they have been doing?
Well, they certainly deserve it from our end, from the organizational end. I mean, Brett's just having a hell of a year. And, to nail back-to-back 60-yarders like that, when the first one was called off for replay, and then turn around and probably kick it even better the second time, hats off to him. But he's had a great year all year. He's made clutch kicks all year for us and having a great year. And certainly Cooper, what a great job he did while Dak was out, and got in the game yesterday some and, did what he always does. He's just steady in the boat and does a great job for us whenever he's playing quarterback.
I know, like you said, Brett Maher made the second 60-yard kick, but was there any part of you that under your breath were kind of like, stupid replay? Let's hurry up and pick up the pace here.
Well, I was a little frustrated. You'd like to hope that they would have, if they were going to look at that catch, they would have done it well before, right before the kick. They were showing it on TV and certainly could see where maybe it might get replayed, but I think our timing could probably be better when you look at it from a competition standpoint, from an officiating standpoint, a replay standpoint. You'd like to think the timing would be better on that.
Was Tyler Smith getting some guard snaps? Was that kind of were we looking at maybe what the future's going to look like when Tyron comes back, or what are we working with there?
I think all the above. I think it was great to get Peters some snaps. As we move forward, we know this is a long year. And certainly Peters has played his Hall of Fame career there at left tackle, knowing that that's his best spot. If we had to shuffle the offensive line, and certainly you always have in mind that one of the best tackles in the game, and maybe to play out there, one of the better ones is with Tyron coming back is certainly, I'm sure, a thought process as well.
So, Stephen, I'm going to ask a sports psychology kind of question here. Is when your team loses like that, and obviously Micah Parsons set the tone, and you always play, it seems like you play better after one of those, because whether you feel like you lost, the other team didn't win, like Green Bay, and I'm sure that's how most of the Cowboys felt, or you just get embarrassed. And I know it didn't happen in Green Bay, but I've been through it. It's just my preparation for the next one is always just a little bit more focused and a little bit more better. How can the Cowboys, after a dominating win like that, keep that intensity for the upcoming games?
Well, that's what great teams do, and I think that's the challenge with the leadership in the locker room, with the leadership on the coaching staff, from Mike to Dan to Kellen to Bones, to keep these guys focused. And the great teams do that. And we certainly need to step up. This game, if you can't get fired up against playing a team you're tied with in the division right now we're in second place with them. They played great football all year. They're 7-3 as well. If we can't get focused and fired up for a divisional opponent like the Giants, then I'd be surprised.
And I did kind of ask Jerry something like this on Friday. I'm curious the same for you. Is this the most exciting time of the year, or is this the most stressful time of the year with Thanksgiving and then wedging these two games in the span of 4 days?
I think both, all the above. It's certainly exciting to have a good football team going into Thanksgiving, being in the mix, knowing that you can be very competitive to compete, for a championship is exciting. At the same time, it is stressful. I mean, every little injury, as you said, you see Micah limp off, it's stressful. And I know the good news is the guys out there playing the game, they're steady, and they seem undeterred. And I'll be surprised if we don't go out and play well against the Giants.
I was looking at Michael Gallup's, like just the way he played overall yesterday, and he looked as physical as I think I've seen him so far this year. Is that a pretty good assessment of where Michael is at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's only fair. I mean, an ACL, coming off a major ACL injury like he did, his first one, it takes time. I mean, if you just look at most players, in the league who come off major ACL injuries, they usually don't get to 100% for games. And certainly I think Michael's there is just straight up. He just keeps getting better, and we all know what type of player he is. And as he gains more and more confidence, he'll only get better as well. But I thought yesterday he played extremely well, extremely confident. And as I said, I think the best of Michael's yet to come.
I know it was kind of a bummer for Anthony Barr that he tweaked his hamstring, is what we heard, so he wasn't able to play against his old team. How is he looking? Do you think he's a possibility for the Giants game?
Yeah, I think, it'll be a game time type decision. Obviously, he was doing well as the week progressed, but just felt like, it's a long season, and we all know hamstrings. If you tweak them and continue, you don't let them get 100%, then they'll linger. And I think our thought process is, knowing that we've got a good group of young linebackers behind Barr, and Damone and Jabril Cox and Luke Gifford, that we could certainly afford to do that.
What was the injury that bothered you the most when playing football? Was it a nagging hamstring, or what bothered you when you were playing?
I don't think I was fast enough to have hamstrings. But anyway, I'm sure every player's different. Certainly I was fortunate enough never to have a major knee injury. I always just my injuries were predominantly ankle injuries. But I would say, as managers, of this team, year in and year out, you kind of know what you have with an ACL. It's not great news, but doctors do a great job this day and time of getting them fixed, and it is what it is. But probably the more frustrating injuries are the hamstring / soft tissue injuries. And, one thing we have learned is you have to get them 100% ready, or they will linger throughout the year if you let them continue to get out there and then retweak, and that can be very frustrating.
Now, Stephen, I got to go get the turkey today and start the thawing process and everything. Every time I've been out for a Thanksgiving game, though, the media spread is the best you'll find in all of the NFL. Y'all do a phenomenal job of making sure that spread is good. Do you go partake in that spread, or is there a different Jones family dinner that happens?
Well, I think it's all the same chef and the same food preparing it, but we do have a spread. We have a big family contingent in for the Thanksgiving Day game, and we have a little pregame Thanksgiving meal there before the game starts. But I think it's all the same preparation, and I agree with you. They do an outstanding job of preparing a Thanksgiving Day dinner.
Well, and then the last question I have, maybe we can help you out here, is on Wednesday, we're doing our marathon show for charity for My Possibilities. We're going to have Charlotte on as part of the show. Is there any old Thanksgiving question you want me to ask her to try to get to the bottom of any issues?
Oh, that's actually a funny one, but I don't know that I have anything on her. I could probably have a lot on some others, mainly my father, who is always sneaking around getting more than he should. But no, we've had great Thanksgivings and certainly great traditions, and Charlotte's been a big part of it, and I'm sure she'll have some great stories for you.
Appreciate the time as always, and congratulations on a heck of a win. Obviously hoping we pick up another one on Thursday.
Sounds great, guys. Thank you.